Yo, Peace was good. Walks in an installment of albums that never came out or never got released officially. This is part 3. This is the third installment. Once again, thank you guys for sending me, all the great comments and stuff like that, and also putting out the, different albums that never came out that I might have had it on my list and didn't have it on the list, so I'm adding them on as I read some of the comments and stuff like that. So thank you guys for that. And also I want to give a couple condolences. I want to send my condolences to Shy Skills of Annexx fame. He was the in-house producer for Annexx at one point. He produced him and Jam Master Jay, but mostly Shy Skills. Produced Annexx's first album, Back to Fucker, which is a classic album. He died, I believe, Monday morning. He died of a heart attack. And it was confirmed by Royal Flush on Facebook, because I have both of them on as friends on Facebook, and the first thing I saw was Royal Flush posting that Shy Skills passed away. So it's crazy, man, crazy. Shy Skills, he produced for bunch of other people. He's produced for L Cool J, Royal Flush himself, Annexx obviously. I said Shaq, L Cool J, like I said, bunch of other people that he's produced for. Public Enemy, Run DMC, people like that. God rest his soul, man. He was a good dude, cool to talk to. Now, him, Big DS, and Jam Master Jay making beats, just making bangings, and Big DS rapping over them shit. So, shout out to you, brother. Much love. Queens get the money. Also, I'm going to send my condolences to all the high school students that lost their lives yesterday. 17 students, including the coach that got killed too. This gun violence is getting out of control, man. I mean, since the new year started, we already had 18 different school shootings. That's ridiculous. You know what I mean? That's uncalled for. You know what I mean? And something's gotta give. And yes, as much as we would like to take away the guns, that's not realistic. Taking away guns is not gonna solve anything. But we definitely need more stricter gun laws. We need metal detectors in schools and stuff like that. But enough of that. My condolences to everybody that lost a loved one. You know what I mean? I'm not here to be political. Here to talk about these albums I want to talk about. Alright, so I left off with Ali Vegas with Generation Gap, which was supposed to come out back in 99, 2000, but that got leaked. So, the next album, number 21, is Call of the Wild, Straight Out of the Wilderness. That was supposed to come out back in 1998, I believe. Call of the Wild, they were a group, hip-hop duo from Harlem, New York, which consists of 2 MCs from Harlem, like I said before. Baron Ricks and a dude named Angelo Campagnani, I think that's how you say his name. Whatchamacallit, they were affiliated with Cypress Hill, part of the whole side. They were more of DJ Muggs artists, affiliated with the Soul Assassin clique and stuff like that. Their first appearance on Wax was actually on the Bad Boy soundtrack. They had a song called Clouds of Smoke, which was a single. There's a video for it, dope video, very, very dope video. And also they came out with a couple of 12 inches, Cloud of Smoke being one of them. They had a joint called Intellectual Dons, Rough Train, shit like that. They also had a song called New York Undercover, which was actually featured on DJ Muggs' first album, the Soul Assassins album. Dope album, very underrated. Very, very dope track right there. And then in 1998, when also they were featured on the Cypress Hill's EP, the unreleased and revamped EP that came out. I think the Intellectual Don song was on that album, on that EP, excuse me. It's been a while since I heard it. And then, Baron Ricks, he put out his own single. He had a song called Harlem River Drive. That was pretty big on the underground circuit. And he was also featured on, what's the song? Tequila Sunrise off the fourth album by Cypress Hill 4. and another song he was featured on too. But they severed ties with DJ Muggs because I guess I was reading an article and DJ Muggs was saying pretty much like how they were like too big for their britches. They act like stars and stuff like that. They had a big ego, so that's why he had to cut ties with them. So which is sad, but yeah, I would love to hear that album and stuff like that. There is like a made up compilation of the album should have sounded like. So if you just type in Call of the Wild, straight out the wilderness, it should pop up. You know what I'm saying? If you do your Googles, do your research. Yeah, so that's pretty much it on that. Number 22, Last Emperor with Legend of Bigfoot. That was set to release back in 2000. For those who don't know who Last Emperor is, he's an MC from Philly, Pennsylvania. You know, he's put out a bunch of 12 inches back in the mid 90s. He's known for songs like Secret Wars, which is pretty dope, where he talks about the comics and stuff like that, like, you know, like Marvel Comics, DC Comics, in hip hop form. Pretty dope. I like how he did that. It's kind of like a fantasy type of battle type of thing. It's pretty dope. It's a dope concept. It's called Secret Wars. Bum Deal. I think it's a song called Bum Deals, Monumental, Heaven, you know, stuff like that. And, you know, shout out to Kill of Apartment 5B podcast. He's mentioned that before. I didn't even know about that until he's mentioned that, because I know he had stuff before, you know, like the early stuff, but I didn't know there was like an actual album. You know what I mean? So shout out to him. And he was also, you know, the Live from the Writer's Bench too, his old show, before it became Apartment 5B podcast. So shout out to Kill for that. And yeah, the shit is dope, man. I really enjoyed it. Like I said, if you guys like the mid 90s stuff, like the mid to late 90s hip hop, boom bap, then you'll definitely enjoy that Legend of Bigfoot. And because I know his official first album was called Music Magic Myth, I think it's called. And I think that was under Ruckus Records. Ruckus Records, excuse me. You know, that's a pretty decent album, pretty dope. But I would have loved to have Legend of Bigfoot to come out officially, you know what I'm saying? And I know for a while he was released, I believe he was signed to Aftermath at one point, but that never worked out, which, you know, is no surprise. But yeah, man, Last Emperor, Legend of Bigfoot, that was set to be released in 2000, but it never came out. Alright, that's 22. 23, Sunz of Man, Nothing New Under the Sun. You guys should know who Sunz of Man is. But for those who don't know, they're a hip-hop group affiliated with Wu-Tang. Consists of, I think, I want to say at the time 7 members. They were Supreme, shout out to Supreme. Friends with him on Facebook, dope producer, very underrated. Hellraiser, Shabazz the Disciple, Prodigal Son, Seventh Ambassador, 60-Second Assassin, and I think 12 O'Clock. 12 O'Clock was another dude too. 12 O'Clock Assassin. I think he was another member of that group too. But anyways, sorry about that. Throughout the mid 90s, well, at first they were known as the Last Future at one point, but then it was just Killer Priest and Heaven and Hellraiser at one point. But then they added more people, and then it became the Sunz of Man, and they came out with a couple singles like No Love Without Hate, which is one of my favorite songs from them. Supreme did that beat. Soldiers of Darkness, 5 Archangels, Bloody Choices, As It Was Written, stuff like that. And the album was set to be released back in 1996. But then I heard from sources that like that album never existed, or it got shelved and stuff like that. And which sucks because, you know, I mean, their production, the beats, it's like they go for that more darker approach of things. My kind of shit that I like, you know what I mean. The closest thing we'll get to the first album is this joint right here, Sons of Man First Testament, which was released in 1999. These are pretty much songs that we recorded between 1994 and 1995, and this is a bootleg, you know what I'm saying. But I'm just glad to own it, you know what I mean. It wasn't officially released, you know what I mean. This was actually leaked. You know what I mean. It's it's unfortunate, but I'm glad to own it because if you guys like that mid '90s Wu sound, then you'll definitely enjoy this album right here. Very dark, that grimy shit, that the religious lyrics and that dark beats and stuff like that. Very dope. Yeah, and I mean, unfortunately, it doesn't include as it was written, Bloody Choices or stuff like that, because I believe those songs were recorded a little bit after these songs were recorded. So I believe they were recorded in '96. You know what I'm saying? And it has that sound that was recorded in '96. So, but it's unfortunate. But this is the closest thing you're gonna get as far as what the first song would have sounded like. They released another version of this album, but it's actually called Elements, which consists of some of the songs, but it also consists of new songs that they made throughout the early 2000s. I would steer clear from that one because to me it doesn't really flow right, with the new songs and the old songs. It just doesn't feel right. I think this is the closest thing you'll get from the first album. Might be a bit hard to find. It is hard to find, but if you go on like Amazon, Discogs, or eBay, you can find it. Might be a little bit of money, but it's definitely worth it. How I got this, I actually got to do a hip hop lot off eBay. It was like 10 CDs of all Wu affiliated CDs, and this was one of them. So I definitely had to pick it up, and I won it. So yeah, that was pretty dope. So I'm happy to get that. So that's Sons of Man, Nothing New Under the Sun. That was set to be released in 1996. Next album, number 24, Charli Baltimore, The Cold As Ice. That was set to be released in 1999. Charli Baltimore, for those who don't know, at one point was in a relationship with Biggie, rest in peace to Biggie Smalls. And then she was signed under Lance Rivera's entertainment record label. That's how she got her, that she became affiliated with Cameron and stuff like that. That's how they got close and stuff like that. With Biggie's connections, meeting Lance and stuff like that, and then Cameron added to the picture, and that's how they got together and stuff like that. And so, fast forward to 1998, she was working on the album. Then she was supposed to come out with the album in '99. It got pushed back, it got shelved, that kind of thing. Label politics, that kind of thing. There was a single that she put out back in '99 called Stand Up that featured Ghostface. Very, very dope song. Love that joint right there. It's on some like Bonnie and Clyde type of shit. You know what I mean? The hip hop Bonnie and Clyde. Very, very dope. The beat is dope. The video is dope. You just see them in Stapleton Projects. And, Charli Baltimore's crew, Ghostface's crew, the whole Stapleton Projects is there. They're rapping in front of the projects. They're inside the projects by the stairwell. Very dope. I mean, fucking love that joint. They had another song called Infamous with Mobb Deep. Oh my god. Very, very dope. It got leaked. I mean, there was promo copies of the album that came out. But, like I said, there was some promo copies. They weren't really official copies. So, we'd love for that to come out and see the light of day. But, who knows when. You know what I'm saying? And then I know she was signed with Ja. And mind you, this was before she was with Ja Rule and Murder Inc. And, with her, she came out. She was with Murder Inc. Never came out with an album from them. So, she ended up leaving the group, leaving them, stuff like that, which is unfortunate. But, it is what it is. So, but that's Charli Baltimore, Cold As Ice. Alright, number 25, Saukrates with Father Time. That was an album that was supposed to be released back in 1996. How I found about Saukrates with that album, this is when I started, this is back in like 2004, when I was big into like Soulseek and, Kazaa and stuff like that, but I was really big into Soulseek, because Soulseek at the time was really big into like underground, shelved albums, stuff like that. So that's how I was able to find about some of these albums and stuff like that. And I downloaded pretty dope album. But, you know, the cassette is like cassette quality, and, you know, it never really officially came out. And so they came out with an album called Underground Tapes back in 1999, which was a pretty dope album, you know what I mean? But you could tell that, you know, he has some like commercial songs, and he has some real hip hop songs and stuff like that. But I would love for Father Time to come out. But, you know, who knows if that will ever come out. I highly doubt it. And this was before he became he was affiliated with Redman. You know, this is before that. So you didn't really get that. So this is before all that. But yeah, Father Time with Saukrates, that was really supposed to be coming out in 1996. Do your Googles. I'm pretty sure you guys can find it. Oh, the closest thing you'll get to hearing what the Father Time album would sound like was an EP that he put out back in 97 called Brick House. And yeah, so that's pretty much it on that. That's 25. 26, Bass Blasta, The Mouth That Roared. That was set to be released back in 1994, 1995. He's an MC from Connecticut. Not sure what part of Connecticut he's from. He got his start back in the early 90s. His first appearance on Wax was on, what's that album? Down the Line by Nice and Smooth off their second album, Ain't a Damn Thing Changed, that Posse cut. He was featured on that. Then he came out with 2 singles. The singles were Ain't What You Do and Dangerous. Those are the 2 singles off the album. That was pretty much like obviously the promo of the album that was supposed to come out called The Mouth That Roared, but unfortunately that got shelved and never came out. I think a couple years ago there was 2 songs that leaked from the promo tape of that album, The Mouth That Roared, and you can find that on YouTube. I forgot the name. I think one of them was called Loungin', and there was another joint that I forgot the name of it, but it sounds pretty good. But again, man, I would love to hear that album, man. But yeah, that's Bass Blasta, The Mouth That Roared. If you guys like, you know, beat nuts, like that kind of hip hop, like Curious with Constipated Monkeys, mixed it with beat nuts, but like a more rugged version of that, then you'll get Bass Blasta, and that's pretty much it, man. That would have been pretty dope. Number 27, Adolf, Wrap Your Lips Around This. This was set to be released back in 1995. Adolf, for those who don't know, also known as Agala, Purple City Agala, Purple City Bird Gang, all that shit, you know what I'm saying? But this is way before Dipset. Agala, you know, you gotta start back in the early 90s. His first placement was on YZ's second album, The Ghetto's I think it's called The Ghetto's Trying to See Me and Kill Me. I forgot the name of it. And he was featured on a song called Acid Rain. And he had demos and stuff like that. But his big break was actually on Annexx's second album. He did 2 album placements on that. Did some production on that album, All We Got Is Us. He did the, I think, Better Off Dead and the Punk Motherfuckers. He did that joint off that album and stuff like that. And I just love the work that he did with Annexx. But I think they had like a falling out, so that's why, you know, they never made more music together. And he was set to release his first album, Wrap Your Lips Around This. He had a video called Ghetto Girl, and you know, it had like, you know, like that commercial vibe. It had that commercial vibe to it, but it was still hip hop. You know, it's just talking about girls and stuff like that. Pretty dope video, you know, that kind of thing. It's kind of like Al Cool's the Runaway Girl, kind of like that, kind of like a homage to that, you know, that kind of thing. But the album never came out. It never came out. Promo versions of the album came out, but it never really came out officially, and which is unfortunate. But it's a very dope album. Love the dark production on the album. Very dope. It has some commercialized album songs, like filler tracks, but it's good filler. You know, it's still commercialized tracks, but it still had that rugged, hardcore feel to it. That's what I like about it. And I know it got released digitally, you know, on iTunes and stuff like that, but I would love a physical. I asked Aguilar on Instagram one time, is it ever gonna come out physically? He never responded back, but you know, it is what it is. So, but yeah, shout out to Adolf Aguilar, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, Adolf with Wrap Your Lips Around This was set to release in 1995. Next album is Royal Fam with Black Castle. Love this fucking album. Royal Fam was consists of two members, Kim, the ill figure, the producer, and Timbo King. Yeah, Timbo King, you know, he was an MC. He's an MC from, I believe, from Bushwick, and he was part of a group called Timbo King and Spark 950. Came out, you know, they came out with an EP, United We Slam. You know, that was pretty dope. Enough Roughness was the single off the album, of the EP. Didn't really do very well. Definitely need to get my hands on that EP. It's very cheap online. Then he met with Kim. They started working on albums and stuff like that. And they came out, and they were supposed to come out with Black Castle, I said like around 95, 96. And he came out with a single called Something's Gotta Give. And, you know, it's talking about the ills of the industry and stuff like that, how the industry do you dirty. There's a video for that, very dope, very dark. If you like Sons of Man, then you'll definitely like Royal Fam, that kind of thing. And Nature Sounds Records, Nature Sounds, the record label, back in 2006, they released, or 2005, 2006, they released a promo version of Black Castle, so it wasn't really an official album, you know what I mean? But that sold out within, like, it sold out real quick. And it's long out of print. It's very hard to come by. So I highly doubt you're going to see somebody trying to sell that album. And if they do, they're going to sell it for a lot of money because it's heavily sought after. And I really love that album, man. I really love to get my hands on that album, man. But who knows if that will ever come out, be released. But that definitely needs to come out. So that's Royal Fam with Black Castle. Number 29, Science of Sound, Kaleidoscope, Phonetics. That was an album that was supposed to come out back in 1995. For those who don't know, Science of Sound is, they're a group from Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. They were known for their affiliation with Tribe Called Quest. Because if you listen to the album, you can find it on YouTube. But they actually, like, if you listen to the beats, they definitely have that tribe feel to it. It sounds like something that they would have made back around 95. They released an album back in 1995. I think that album would have been Tribe's album in 95, if that makes sense. The big song of that album is Who Got the Funk, which features Godfather Don. Godfather Don does the beat. If you can find that, it's called Science of Sound, Who Got the Funk with Godfather Don. Yeah, very, very dope album, man. There's a white label, there's like a bootleg version of the album, but it's never been officially released. You can find it on Discogs. Very, very dope album, man. Just would love to get a physical copy of the album. But yeah, all that stuff, I'll post it down in the description box so you guys could listen to it, or, you know, just find it, you know, YouTube it, do your Googles and stuff like that. And last but not least, infamous Mobb. They did a collab. 1 second. Sorry about that. They did a collab album with DJ Muggs, but in the late 90s. It's crazy. And how I found out was because shout out to my dude Leo and Speak No Evil of Drop a Gem on Them podcast. They did an interview with Twin a while back, I think like last year, and just type in Drop a Gem on Them, Twin Gambino or Big Twin, and it should pop up. And yeah, he said that they recorded an album with DJ Muggs, but it got shelved because at the time they were with Virgin Records. If you listen to the song Who Gives you know, and that song is actually featured on the infamous Mobb's first album, Special Edition, with Havoc. And in the first verse is by Twin Gambino or Big Twin, and he mentions that they signed a deal with Virgin, or he signed deal with Virgin, but they dropped the kid. He said something about signed a deal with Virgin. They dropped the kid. The music was too hard for them to list, you know. So it's saying like, it was too hardcore for them, you know what I mean? Virgin Records, you know what I mean, with Richard Branson. I think that's his name, Richard Branson. I think whatever, Richard Branson, whatever his name is. It was too much for them. They couldn't handle something so hardcore like that. So they dropped the kids. So they dropped them and stuff like that. And that's how they got with Land Speed and things like that. And but I would love to hear that, man, because the song "Life Is Tragic" that was featured on DJ Muggs' first album, Soul Assassins, if it sounds anything like that, oh my god, that would be so dope. Twin Gambino say he plans on releasing it. I don't know when, but that shit needs to come out. Whew! Oh my god, I could only imagine how that shit sounds, man. If it's anything like that song, "Life Is Tragic," then I know that shit's gonna be fucking dope. And they already put out dope music anyway, so but that's number 30, and that's it, folks. Sorry I was like all over the place, you know what I mean? I do my stuff sporadically, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Much love for all the support, all the comments, all the dope comments and stuff like that. Definitely stay tuned for more videos, alright? Peace!